like you said, the algorithm has really evolved a lot from I really liked reading about the difference between a rules-based algorithm and a machine learning algorithm, right? Do you want to talk to that a little bit? Because I think that sort of, we can tie those together with, in some way.
Yeah. So in a rules-driven algorithm, it's exactly what Levy talked about in the Plex, right? You sit at a table with engineers. The engineers go, oh, maybe if we turn down the the value of anchor text and turn up the value of keyword matching, we'll get better results out of this algorithm, right? So then they test and tweak and tune, and okay, well, there's 300 signals in the ranking algorithm. Maybe we should turn down, I don't know, HTTPS and safe, security sites as a ranking signal because we're losing a bunch of good blogs that don't have security certificates. I don't, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So they mess around, they tweak and tune, and then they're like, okay, wait, let's gosh, when something is trending news, like there's lots of search demand for it, and we're seeing more articles in Google News, maybe we should make a separate algorithm for trending news, right? I don't know if you remember this, but like back when, I think it was when Michael Jackson passed away, that Google had this like big panic internally because it took their algorithm like 2 or 3 days to start surfacing articles about Michael Jackson's death when people Googled Michael Jackson.
Okay.
And so there was this like big panic inside Google, like, hey, we are not effectively serving this new thing that people are doing with search, which, new at the time, I can't remember, it was like 2007 or 2008, right? And so like, we need to build an algorithm specifically for trending news. Okay, so they come out with something about that. But you can imagine if you have, 20,000 types of, oh, there's trending news, and then there's like stuff that's trending on social, and then there's stuff that's trending in social in Ankara, Turkey, and we should have an algorithm for that because that's different from how it works when something's trending in Bruges in Belgium, and it's very different from how things work when they're trending in Cape Town in South Africa. Okay, you can't do it.
Exactly. It's impossible to write rules for every possible scenario that could happen, right?
Yeah, no way. And so one of the ways that you potentially do this is with machine learning systems, right? You basically essentially tell a machine like, hey, I want you to build me an algorithm that gives the best possible outcomes based on these inputs, right? So here's all the ranking signals Google's ever considered. You, machine, I want you to produce an algorithm based on all these ranking signals that gives the best search outcome results. And best search outcome results could be, we want the people who click on the highest results in the ranking systems to have their query solved. And query solved means, whatever. They don't bounce back to the SERP and do a different search, or they don't bounce back to the SERP and like click a different link or whatever it is, right? You can imagine Google can come up with some very clever, like, this is a satisfied searcher types of mechanisms. And so the machine learning system goes, all right, doop, 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 doop. We're gonna, whatever. This is weighted at 2%. That's weighted at 3%. This is weighted at 4%. Fine. Here's all these inputs, and now we're going to produce an algorithm, and it changes every day. Right. And we can do it for 50 bajillion, it doesn't matter. You have a trillion different, little sectors that you're calculating the search on. So if a type of query comes in, you can categorize it informational or transactional or no category, right? A machine doesn't need to categorize. It can just be like X1B type of search. Boom, you get this algorithm that looks like it solves your problem the best. And that is almost certainly what's going on. And Google's been pretty public about this. Some of their search engineers have talked about like, well, we prior to 2014, we hadn't been using machine learning all that much. And then we've become a machine learning first company over the last 6-7 years. And, now we're experimenting with deep learning and these neural network based systems. And this is how we use it in image recognition. Here's how we use it in self-driving cars. Here's how we use it in search. Here's how we use it in what was the in mobile voice recognition, right? All these different ways that they've described how they're using it. And so now you don't have engineers sitting around a table determining what the rankings, look like. But also, I mean, Maria, I think this goes to a lot of things that that I'm always kind of skeptical of, right? When I hear a Google representative say that like X factor doesn't matter, or X factor or Y factor does matter and is really important, I'm always like, you sure about that, bro? Not just because my understanding from people inside Google who've described how the machine learning system works is like, we don't necessarily know what the ranking system considers or how much it weights it for any given query. And that's fine. We don't have to know. All we know is, hey, here's a bunch of signals. The machine calculates which ones are useful, and they apply them to, 50,000 different variable types of searches, and then they produce good outcomes.